Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna everybody. So as usual, same question. What is the name of the chapter? Answers are different, but the question is same. What's the name of the chapter?
Mataji Vibhuti Yoga.
Yes. So today we are going to see Vibhuti Yoga. So what is Vibhuti Yoga? Vibhuti Yoga actually means that everything which is special, right? So it is one among the many and one about the many. For example, if we are talking about the lion of the jungle, so what is it? Lion is the king of the jungle. So it is one among them, right? So lion is also an animal, but it is above the other animals, right? It's above a dog or a cat or the other animals. That's why it's called the king. So Vibhutis means the very concept is Krishna is highlighting that he is one among that crowd or that specimen, that's thing. And then that of that, those qualities is the topmost quality, right? So that is what he's going to talk about. So before we start off, let's start off with Mangalacharan. Just 1 second. So 9th chapter, we saw a quick recap, right? So what did we see? 9th chapter was more about qualifications to reach Krishna, and Krishna spoke about hearing. And 10th chapter is like, so 9th chapter is always like a love letter, right? So you propose someone, you tell, these, I really like you, I'll take care of you. The process in which you can reach me is like, know about me and all that. Okay, fine, I'll know about you, I'll get to understand you, but tell me about you, right? So the tell me about you is what is happening in the 10th chapter. So Krishna is telling about himself so that we can fall in love, because how do we like a person when we don't know anything about the person? So every time we keep thinking we know about Krishna, but technically speaking, we barely know anything about Krishna. So that's all that about. So let's start off, before we start the class, let's start off with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanattimrandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadadikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Javanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Vasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Come on, all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama, Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama.
Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Rama Krishna, Hare Krishna. So Vibhuti Yoga talks about the opulence of the absolute. And we saw in the 9th chapter, these 3 topics, Raja Vidya, right? We saw Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitramidam Uttam, Pratyaksha Gavagamam Dharmyam, Susukam Kartum Abhyayam. So what does it mean? That it's a king and nothing can come close to that, right? So he's just telling that's the best. How do we approach Krishna? So he clearly says, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, right? So he says, all the time you keep thinking of me and you will reach me. That's an easy thing. Okay, reaching, but so much hard work I have to do. Is it like studying for the exam? Krishna says, no. It's the sweetness of devotional service. Destination is sweet, but also manmana mat bhakto. That means even the journey is very sweet, right? So that's why we do. So somebody, anybody can read this, but before that, can you tell me, what does the picture say? What do you understand from the picture? Can anyone understand what's from the picture? Can anyone tell me what's in the picture? What do you understand from the picture? Is it such a tough question? Or should I rephrase my question? Nobody. So at least tell me who's lying down.
Mataji, this is where Krishnji is laying down and Duryodhan is sitting
Very nice.
on the chair behind him on his head as Krishna ji placed it. Well, so Arjun ji is sitting on the floor near his feet.
Very nice. Thank you so much. So this is the pictorial representation. Very beautifully you said, right? So this is there. And anytime when we are asking someone something, we should not be in an authoritative position like Duryodhan. We should be like Arjun. So currently, where are we? Currently, we are like Duryodhan. Though we may all think that, no, Mataji, I am very humble like Arjun. Actually, we are not. We think we are, but then that's a bigger issue. At least Duryodhan knew he was arrogant. We don't even know that's the issue. If that's not the issue, we won't be here. So currently we are here and we are slowly trying to move here. So the whole Bhagavad Gita is about how we can not transmigrate from one body to another, but how we can transmigrate from, how Duryodhan is and how can we transmigrate to Arjuna. Hare Krishna. So please read this, 10.1.
The Supreme Lord said, "My dear friend, mighty armed Arjuna, listen again to my supreme word, which I shall impart to you for the benefit and which will give you great joy." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he's telling that I'm going to impart this to you for your benefit. So Krishna is not doing for his publicity, but it's for our benefit. And he says automatically that will give you a lot of joy. So 10.2 Hare Krishna. Name vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshayah aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Neither the host of the demigods nor the great says, know my origin, for in every respect I am the source of demigods and the sages. Hare Krishna.
So very clearly, nobody, Krishna is very clearly telling nobody knows. Nobody knows my origin, right? Whether it's the demigod or the sages, nobody knows except me, is what he is telling. And why? So can anyone tell me the picture on the right? What is it and whom does he talk of? Who's a pregnant lady in the picture? Who's a pregnant lady in the picture? Okay, there's a message. Let me see that. Radha ji, no, Radha, no, not Radha. It is Krishna's mom, Devaki, right? When she's pregnant, the demigods felt the presence of Krishna. So you can see around, right? So they all wanted to see the baby, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because they don't get a chance. They're all around, and Devaki Mata felt it. She felt that somebody was seeing. And immediately they started telling, oh, I think she can feel us. So let's just escape from here. And they immediately leave the place. So what they are, so what they're telling is nobody seems to be knowing Krishna, right? Neither the demigods nor them. Nobody knows the origin. Yes, let's move on to 10.3. Hare Krishna.
He who knows me as the unborn, as the beingless, as the supreme lord of all worlds, he undiluted among men is freed from all the.
Devaki's story when she was pregnant, how many kids she had, I'll tell you at the end. I know all of us know, but we may have in pieces, so I'll try and connect it to the end. Hare Krishna. He says that he who knows me as unborn, as the beginningless, right? And as the supreme lord of the world. So whoever thinks he's unborn, right, is free from sins, right? That means he believes he's a god. Other people who thinks he's human, obviously are coming under asuras. So 10.6, Hare Krishna.
The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages, and the Manus, are born out of my mind, and all creatures in these planets descend from me.
So very clearly they're saying that the 7 sages and the 4 great sages, all of them are born out of the mind, right? So they are the Manasa Putra, we say, right? That's what is mind. So 25 of them actually originate from Krishna. So that is what he's mentioned. And this one is before we all descended. And 10.7 is Etam Vibhutim Yogam Cha Mamayo Veti Tatvatah. So Vikalpena Yogena Vichyate Natra Samshayah. Hare Krishna.
He who knows in truth this glory and power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt.
Krishna. So he's very clearly saying, whoever knows this truth, cases in the unalloyed devotional service, absolutely there is no problem and there is no doubt, right? So he is there completely, right? And he obviously will reach him, right? So that's the bottom line he is talking about. Hare Krishna. This is called Chatur Shloka, very important, 10.8, 9, 10 and 11. So what does Chatur Shloka means? The entire Bhagavad Gita is here. And here this particular shloka talks about the relationship, sambandha. So it goes like this, Hare Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhavu mattas sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante ma budabhava samanvitaha. Hare Krishna.
I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
We already saw in the 7th chapter, right? In 7.4, we saw Krishna is responsible for the material world. And also we saw that spiritual world is also under his protection. So this is very similar, right? So he says that, however, between the emanation, he says that whoever understands this and engages in devotional service, worships me with all the heart, are those who are wise. Now we saw about the relationship because the person who understands this and prays has a relationship with Krishna. So next one we are going to talk about Samandha is relationship, Abhinaya. So what does it mean? It talks about the process, right? How do we achieve? Hare Krishna. Mat chitta mat kata pranam bodayante parashparam kadayanti cha mam nityam tushtanti cha ramanti cha. Hare Krishna. Yes.
The thoughts
The
of my
thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are surrendered to me, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss enlightening one another and conversing about me.
Hare Krishna. Nice coordination among you all. Thank you so much. So what they are talking about, right? So look at that happiness. Of happiness.
The audio is not coming, Mataji, I think. Hare Krishna. Mataji, the audio was not coming, Mataji.
That's what I'm thinking. Not coming.
Yeah, the audio. Mm.
Just one second.
Mm.
I think it'll come now. Just
Yeah, it's okay.
thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So they show how happy they are, right? Sustenance, they are talking about the story. They are so happy is what they talk about. The next one is talking about the goal, right? So what is the goal of whatever we are doing? So they are saying, Tas tesham satata yukthanam bhajantam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. Hare Krishna.
To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
So he says that anyone who understands this and constantly, finally, I will give them the understanding they can come. Example, Dhruva, right? So Dhruva wanted property, but then his engagement was so involved, right? He's so involved that the moment he saw Krishna, he forgot everything. He said, I don't need property, I don't need anything, I want only you, Krishna. So automatically that understanding himself is given by Krishna so that we can automatically reach him. So this is also the same thing, goal, just an extension of that, how he does that, right? This one talks about what he does, and this one talks about the goal, how he does. Hare Krishna. Tesham evanutam partam aham ajnana jam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnanadipena bhashvata. Hare Krishna.
Out of compassion for them, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with a shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly, he says that I'm born out of the compassion, dwelling in the hearts, right? Destroying whatever it is, right? It is there, and with the shining lamp of knowledge. So basically, he says that ignorance is removed by the lack of knowledge. So this is the 4 shlokas which talks about the relationship, the purpose, and the goal of life. So these 3, can anyone tell me 1, 2, 3?
Maharaji, your voice is not clear.
Can anyone tell me the pictures? Who are they? Picture. Who's that?
Parikshit Maharaj, ma'am.
Sorry, who's that? Parikshit, yes. Parikshit Maharaj, right? So that is how he got the light. Same way, this one you may not know. This is from 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapila. Kapila is an incarnation of Krishna, and he teaches his mother whatever we learned in the 2nd chapter, right? Sankhya philosophy, not the body, the soul. All this is happening. And this picture is that of Uddhava and Krishna. So Krishna is leaving, right? He is just departing and he's going back to Goloka. And that time Uddhava sees and he just could not take it. He wants to come along and he's Maitreyi. So he wants to come and Krishna says not now, later, right? After some time. And this is what is the posture. This is also in the 1st canto. Krishna leaving the abode and devotees don't talk. After hearing all this 12 and 13, Arjuna is praising the God, right? Hare Krishna. This is a prayer. This is the first shloka I learned in the entire Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna vacha param brahmam param dhamma pavitram paramam bhavan purusham shashvatam divyam adidevam ajam vibhum. So this one is a prayer. Now you will tell that, oh, Arjuna is the friend of Krishna or his brother-in-law. Naturally, he will praise him. What's the big deal? So Krishna is also giving testimony of whom, that's what he says. Ahustam rishe sarve devashir narad tata asito devalo vyaso swayam cheve bhavishime. Hare Krishna. So he says that all rishis like Devashir, Narada, Asito, Devalo, all of them, Vyasa, everybody, and yourself, Swayam Chaiva means yourself, are now telling that you're God. So what more we need? So he is giving proof, testimony, right? And 10.14, let's go ahead. Hare Krishna. Sarvam etat tritam manyate yanmam badayashi deshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur devana dhanavaha. Hare Krishna.
O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the gods nor demons, O Lord, know thy personality.
So very clearly he says, I totally accept the truth, whatever you told me, but nor the gods nor the demigods know about this, is what he's telling, which we already saw, right? So we can move on to 10.15. Hare Krishna.
Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own potencies. O origin of all beings, gods of gods, O Supreme Person, Lord of Universe. Hare Krishna.
So Krishna is having this potency of Vishnu Maya. So which means that you have Yoga Maya as well as Maha Maya. Yoga Maya is internal energy and Maha Maya is external. And only he knows, right? So nobody in the universe can tell about him because he's so supreme. Nobody knows him as much as he. So he only has to talk. 10.17.
How should I meditate on you? In what various forms are you to be contemplated? O blessed Lord.
So now he's confused. He's saying that which form should I meditate on? Right? What are the forms? Right? You see so many forms. So light or Paramatma or him, which form should I meditate? Yeah. And 10.18. Hare Krishna.
Tell me again in detail, O Janardana, of your mighty potencies and glories, for I never tire of hearing your ambrosial words.
He says that you tell me again because I am never tired. I like to enjoy you telling it again. So he wants to hear it all over from him. So now question time, all of you very alert. I'm going to point the pointer actually. Now you have to tell me who they are. Come on, start. Where is it? Pointer is outside. Okay. Who's sleeping on the snake?
Mahavishnu.
Very nice. So basically not Mahavishnu, Vishnu. I'll come to that. This one.
Krishnji.
Krishna.
Krishna, very nice. Who is this?
Lakshmi.
Sorry?
Lakshmi ji.
Looks like that, but no, it's a male.
Brahmaji.
Brahmaji. See, can you see from the navel, Brahma is coming, right? So that's why it's not Mahavishnu, it's Garbho Dakshaya Vishnu. And who's this? Blue color boy.
Shivji.
Shivji.
Shiv, perfect. This one? He's having Vajrayam in his hand. Who's that?
Indraji.
Indrajit. And who's this horse name? Horse, Uchitra. I'll tell you where it came from. And who's this elephant Indra is sitting on? Elephant?
Airavat.
Airavat. Perfect. And who's this? Here it can get tough. Who's that? All of you know it actually. Just observe how he looks. We all will be having at least one small deity of that.
Thakurji.
Huh? Sorry? Buddha. And blue, who's this green color boy? How can you forget green? With bow and arrow.
Rama.
Arjuna.
Rama, perfect. And this cow?
Kamadhenu.
Kamadhenu, perfect. Surabhi, Kamadhenu. And this guy who's having Veena in the hand.
Narada.
And behind him?
Arjuna.
Superb. Amazing. Nobody has actually got that right. Okay, now Arjuna. Hare Krishna. This one, below Arjuna. Or this one.
Vedvyas.
Vedavyasa, amazing. Good try. The small kid.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu maybe.
No, looks like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You're right about the guess, but no, that's not. It's a small child. It's a 5-year-old child. When I said 5 years, you should have caught it.
Dhruv.
Almost correct, but not Dhruv.
Prahlad.
Yes. Prahlad. And this one? What is this fish? What is the name of this fish? What is the name of this fish? That was the easiest thing, yeah? Geography class, 2nd standard, you learn. It's shark. And is everybody there? Or am I suddenly lost? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji, we can hear
Yes.
you.
Okay.
Because it's
Suddenly
so
you are very
simple.
silent.
No, it's so simple,
okay.
that's why.
Oh, yeah, I know. You're so elevated that you all cannot answer the simple ones. Good one. This bird.
Garuda.
Garuda.
Correct. And who is this? Red color. Who's that red color? This one. Can you see that? Yeah. This one. Okay, at least the next person, again with the thread. It's okay to try if you tell wrong also. Okay, anybody can tell who's in the peacock. So the one in the red thread is Varuna. The one here is Yamadharmaraja. The guy who's having money is Kubedra. And snake is obviously, you all know the snake, Vasuki. Okay, now I'm moving on. Hare Krishna. You can hear my voice, right? So technically, you all have finished from 10.19 to 38, right? So all the verses you've completed. So the blessed Lord said, yes, I will tell you my splendorous mantle, because Krishna Arjuna is asking. So he's telling whatever is prominent, I'll tell you. So quickly, I'll run you through. So among the Adityas, he says among the Vishnu, he says he's Adityas. Among sun, he is light. Among Marichi, he is the Marusts. Among moon, he is the stars. Among the Vedas, among the star, he is the moon. Among the Vedas, he is the Sama Veda, right? We know 4 Vedas are there, and Sama is the poetic form of Veda. And I told reverse actually. Among the light, sun, because you know sunlight is the brightest. Among the senses, he says mind, because mind is the most powerful of all. And among the living beings, he says he is the life force. And among Rudras, he says he's a Shiva. And among Yakshas and Rakshasas, he is the Kuvera, because Kuvera is also a Yaksha. Priest, he is the Brahaspati. And among the Skanda, among the generals, he's a Skanda. Skanda means Muruga. Muruga is what? Kartikeya. And he is the commander-in-chief of army. Among the bodies of water, he is the ocean. And among the sages, he is Bhrigu. Among the vibration, he is Omkara, right? And among the holy name, obviously, chanting, right? Among all the sacrifices, japa is his strength. And among the immovable things, right, he is Himalayas. You may be asking, is there a movable mountain? Yeah, it will come. So let's read. Among the trees, he is Ashwata. And among the demigods, he is Narada. Among the singers of demigods, he is Chitraratha. In fact, Arjuna even defeated Chitraratha. Among the men, he is called monarch, which means kings are considered as representatives of Krishna. So that is why he says among the men, he says he's the king monarch, right? Among the weapons, all of you know Vajra, because Indra's weapon is strong. Among the cows is Surabhi. Among the procreators, he is Cupid, right? The Kandarpa. We know the Cupid god, so he is the one. Among the serpents, he is the Vasuki, and among the snakes, he is Ananta. Among the aquatics, he is Varna. That's what we said. From here only we got stuck. Among the departed souls, right? Whoever has passed away, he is Arema. And among the dispenser of law, he is Yama. And among the deity demons, he is Prahlad. You should know that Prahlad is also from the demon family, right? And among the subduers, subduer means something which can control, right? And something which goes on is time. Time is Sudarshan Chakra, and we'll see a little more on time in the coming chapters. Among the animals, right, beast, lion. Among birds, Garuda. Among purifiers, wind. Among the wielders of weapon, Rama. Among the fishes, we all know shark. We studied this in geography. And among the flowing rivers, Ganges, right? Because Ganges is originating from the spiritual sky. Among the creation, he says he's the beginning, he's the middle, he's the end, he's everything. Among the sciences, he says spiritual science, right? Because all sciences are there, spirit science is the most efficient and the excellent thing. Among the logicians, he says he's the truth. And letter, he says the beginning. Among women, there are 7 qualities, he says, among women is very special. It's fame, fortune, patience, fine speech, and memory, intelligence, right? So these are the qualities of the women. And faithfulness, sorry, I forgot that. So 3 F's: fame, fortune, faithfulness, patience, fine speech, and memory and intelligence. So all these are qualities among women. If you see that, it's all Krishna's qualities. Among the hymns, it's Brahad Sama. Among Sama, this is the sweetest one. Among poetry, it's Gayatri. Among the month, it's called Margashi, which is November, December. Among the seasons, he's spring. Among the cheating, gambling, because gambling is supposed to be the horrible thing. That is why Krishna attacked Karna by cheating. Why? Because Karna also has done a lot of cheating, right? The whole thing was cheating. So he says that if you cheat, I'm the bigger cheater. So he gives 14 reasons as to why he had to cheat him. And he also tells 14 times Karna had cheated. Various reasons where he had fallen a prey. And among strong, he is strength. Among descendants of Vrishni, he is Vasudeva, because Vasudeva is from Vrishni dynasty. Among the Pandavas, is Arjuna. So he is one among the best and one above the 5. Among the sages, he says is Vyasa. Among thinkers, sages, Vyasa. Among thinkers, Ushana. Among punishments, rod of chastisement, the one which our Yamadharma Raja is having. And victory seekers, morality, and secret silence. He says, if you don't talk, that's the biggest thing. So now I think almost everyone caught it. Only the last row we'll repeat once more because that's where we lost. Come on, who's this fish?
Shark.
Yes. On the peacock. Who's on the peacock? Come on. Who's on the peacock? Okay, who's having the red color thread? Chain.
Varuna.
Very nice. And who's having the black color one?
Yama.
Ah, very nice. Yamadharma Raja. Who's this guy with a lot of money?
Kuber.
Kuber. I don't know, we'll not leave. This snake is Vasuki, and the one in the peacock, anybody still can guess? How can you leave? I thought people will be.
Subramanya Swami.
Huh?
Subramanya Swami.
Subramanya Swami, correct. Kartikeya, Subramanya, Skanda, all that same. And just to give you one line, Subramanya Swami, right? That is Kartikeya comes as Krishna's second son, Sambhu. He comes in that form when Krishna comes here, right? 10.39, yes, you can read. Hare Krishna.
Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existence. There is no being moving or unmoving that can exist without me.
He says that he is a generating seed and Akshara, Akshara, moving, non moving, nothing can be without him. 10.40.
O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulence.
So he says that there is no end to my opulences, but whatever I've given you is a very small fragment, a very small thing. It's like a trailer. Yeah, go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creatures spring from but spark of my splendor.
So he says that know that all the opulent, beautiful creations is nothing but the spark of my splendor, right? So he says it's nothing but my own spark, right? So everything which is beautiful or opulent, everything is nothing but my own thing, right? So we saw this. So that's what we'll see. And 10.41, Yad Yad Vibhuti Mat Satvam Shrimadurjitam Eva Va Tat Tad Eva Avagacchaytvam Mama Tejom Sa Sambhavam. Hare Krishna.
Know that all beautiful, glorious, and mighty creations spring from but spark of my splendor.
So he says the same thing. Thank you. So 10.42, Athava Bahunaitena Punyatena Tavajuna Vishtabhyaham Idam Krishnam Ekamshena Stito Jagat. Hare Krishna.
But what need is there, Arjuna, for all that detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
Now this is going to bring in the next chapter, 11th chapter. Very important, because he says, what is the need, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? Because even with a single fragment, everything is going to be pervaded, right? So if you see, Vidya Vidya Sampanni, Brahmanaste Suni Astini, Suni Kena Swapa Keva, Pandita Samadarshinaha. So anybody who sees everyone equally, right? Whether it's a Brahmana or a horse or a cow or a dog eater is called Mahatma, right? So he says that. So somebody who can see, right? He'll be able to see. And what is the need for so much of theory class? This makes Arjuna get curious. And he says, okay, whatever you gave me is demo. I'm hearing Shrunu fine. So Pashyanti, I want to see now. Because you said whatever I'm telling you is very small fragments. So let me see what my eyes can capture. What ears can't capture, at least let's see if the eyes can capture. That's what is going to unreveal our 11th chapter. So 10th chapter, we are talking about Krishna as the sources of all the sources, which is Name, Vidu, Suragana. Pure Bhakti is talking about, right? So we saw the 8, 9, 10, 11, which is basically the summary of Bhagavad Gita, Sambandha, Abhinaya, Prayojan, right? Very clearly done. And Sarvam Etat Ritam Manyate, which is basically starts off with appreciation and gets testimony and says nothing exists without him. And finally, he gives that 19 to 42, all that Divya Ha Atma Vibhudaya, everything, all the Vibhudis He's explaining, which you all told in one single picture, right? And finally, he says that with a single fragment, I can prevail the entire world. Hare Krishna. Any doubts, you can raise your hand. I'll just tell the prayer. Vancha kalpa darubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo namo namah. Come on, all of you. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare Hare.
Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Yes, so if any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, I'm going to the bridge. Any questions? Question? No?
Mataji, one question is there.
Yes, dear.
So Mataji, as we know that the Pandav sons are basically from gods, demigods. So what I was thinking, you said that demigods are also, devotees of Krishna, the supreme god. So when Arjuna started, he put himself to supreme god, ki now I am a part of you, I devote my whole life to you. When the Pandavas died, the Pandav Putra died, did they go to their respective fathers or did they go to Krishna's abode?
They went to Goloka. They went to Goloka with Krishna's abode, Krishna's palace. And there are 5 types of liberation. And there is something called, Sarupa having the same form, Saloka being in the same Loka, and Samipya and Shrishti. Shrishti is opulence and Samipya is being the personal associate. They are personal associate. They're the closest of all. Why and how is the relationship is so strong, so hard, and it is so contained, right? In fact, Arjuna is not 4th chapter we saw, right? It's not just now, but yuga after yuga, you've always come. How? In the previous yuga, they came as Nara Narayan. And then the next yuga, which is Chaitanya's time, he did come, right? So every time when Krishna comes, Arjuna is like a package, he comes along. Just that he doesn't remember, but he is not from Buloka at all. He's always from Goloka. Hare Krishna. And there was one more question about Devaki Mata. What is the question? Was she not in the jail? No, she was not in the jail. What happens is, all of you all know the story of Kamsa bringing back the sister and the brother-in-law Vasudeva. And while he is bringing that, there is this demigods, right, who speak from the sky, telling that your 8th son of Devaki is going to kill you. So immediately he holds the hair of his sister, trying to kill her. Immediately Vasudeva says, please don't do that. I promise you that every child born out of my wife, I will hand it over to you. And he immediately says, okay, please hand it over to the wife. And immediately he hands it over to the wife. And what is happening is, he did hand over, in fact, the first child. He was very happy and he returns it to his wife. He says that no problem, you take it back because I don't need the child, because only my 8th child is going to endanger. And he goes back. But what happens is, now comes and says, how do you know? He's telling your child is a threat, but how do you know it's a 8th child? It could be born first also, don't take a chance. So immediately he says that, okay, no problem, I will go ahead and attack. And immediately he goes ahead and literally, kills the, arrests her. So the arresting part happens only then. So initially he kept them in the palace only because he trusts, Vasudeva. Vasudeva is so honest that he knows very well Vasudeva gives a promise, he's going to hand over. So that's the story. Little bit of TV serial story is modified. The original story you need to read Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Advent of Krishna, chapter 10, but don't start with chapter 10. Sorry, not chapter 10, canto 10. Start with canto 1. There are 12 cantos, 18 books. You'll really enjoy start. All the stories which I'm telling are from there. Any other questions? Hare Krishna. Any other questions? No questions? You all keep asking. I'm just taking all to the mind control. So we already saw this session. What did we see? We saw about. Give me 1 second. So we saw. Yes, we saw this, right? Sorry. We saw the circle of influence, circle of control, all this. Yes, we finished all this, and we have to see mental methods. Is that right?
Yes, Mataji.
Once again, I'm just. Ah. No, she only told 3. Sometime in the last minutes. No, she'll come off 15 minutes late. Hare Krishna. So now today we will see the mental methods, right? So what are we talking about? Mental methods is the changing thoughts, right? Images of the mind. So what we see in the mental methods is we are going to see about the soul covered by subtle and gross body, right? So what is the soul, subtle and gross body is, so you have the soul, which is the innermost, and we have the gross body, but in between the soul and the subtle gross body, there is something called the subtle body, which is in between. Right? So the soul is there, the gross body is there, and you have the subtle body. And that particular subtle body is something which we are not aware of. So soul, all of us know. And the gross body also we know. But in between subtle body, if you don't give up, that is what is going to haunt. Right? So did we do this part? No, I don't think. Did we do the mental things? Can someone please unmute and tell me?
The first slide, Mataji.
I can't hear you. Please speak louder.
Mataji, we had done, you had told us about the gross body.
That I told, but it
yes,
repeats
yes, you
itself.
had
But
done.
have you done the mental methods?
Not full. You haven't done the full mental methods, no.
Oh, no, I'm not done, right? So, okay. That body I repeated because it comes every time. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. So mental methods talk about relaxation, affirmation and self-talk, positive thinking and changing mental attitudes. So we have the Sattva Gun and I'm going to stop the audio. I'm not playing. Needs to, you can't hear, right? I don't want the audio to be heard. So this is girl who has these 3 bottles, right? So they're talking about the 3 qualities. So this is coconut water. Alcohol. So the one in the sattva quality, moment she sees, she's very clear. She takes the coconut water. So now the Rajos is coming in and she walks and she sees the coconut water. She's going to drink the coconut water, but she's very tempted. I love the way the girl is acted, right? The attitude. She's very tempted. So this is a very risky stage. Either you can go up or you can fall down. This is the tamas. So the one in mode of goodness and mode of ignorance are best because both of them are very clear what to do and what not to do. Only the passion, most of the time we are there. We are confused what to do. Right? So both of them are fine. It is not that both are accepted, but both of them are in too extreme. But the passion is very risky because we need to really develop. So what's the difference between the scenes? So we see this guy who's very calm, somebody in passion and somebody in ignorance, right? So what happens is it influences what I have a good thinking. Your thinking influences. All right? Play these videos in 1 second. And same way for someone in the mode of, a feeling. If he has a good feeling, what happens, right? The bad desire in mode of passion both equally dominates. And if you're talking about someone in the mode of goodness, bad desire is not even encouraged, right? And the willingness comes up later. So we're going to see that in the video which I'll show you after this presentation. Different levels of consciousness, we already saw this. So I'm not going to repeat. So you know the bodily platform, which is even below the animal level, you rarely get to see. The second one is the essential platform where you understand life, and mental platform is where you apply mind, right? You have choices, do or not to do. Intellectual is higher, where you make a decision. Decision making is linked to intellectual platform, and happiness, bliss is spiritual platform. How mind degrades, you see. Sudhyayate Vishayan Pumsha, Sangaste Jupajayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kama, Kama Krodho Abhijayate. So he says, while contemplating the objects of senses, automatically lust develops. So let me just show you the picture, you'll understand. Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha, Sammoha Spriti Vibramaha, Spriti Brahmsad Buddhi Naso, Buddhi Nasat Pranashyati. This is how it happens. You see a sense object, example TV, you watch and you see there's a lovely lipstick, you want to pick it. Girls want to pick it, the boys want to pick the girl itself, right? So they are so impressed with the object and immediately they get attached. Now, if it's not available, that particular product, or if the girl, he cannot access so desire comes, right? And then if he's not able to reach, anger comes, which puts you, right? You have no idea. It's like your dark desire, right? You're stuck with that. And your memory is completely bewildered. It's confused. And your decision making is what is intelligence, that's lost. And therefore you fall in the foolish life, right? So this is what it is given in a circular representation. So now this is very beautiful. It's my favorite. Fish actually has lots of fishes underwater, but another fish is a bait and he attacks. Same way, that's because of the taste. And same way you have this moth, light moth, who is very attracted to the fire, and he falls a prey on that. And if you see elephant is running and seeking sense gratification. It's getting trapped by the hunter. Why? Because it is running after the she elephant. Animals have this problem, and for us all senses are attractive. Just imagine, for them one sense, but for us all sense. Camel is called a fool. You know why? Because camel is so much interested, so very interested to taste the thorns, because if it tastes the thorns, the blood which comes, it likes the taste of the blood. So that's why. Now you will see regulative principles of freedom. Very contradictory, right? The word regulative itself means control. So mind control is vairagya, and why do they call it regulated? So you don't get into intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex, right? Pride and all this. You know, intoxication is alcohol, drugs, and all that. Gambling is horse racing. Illicit sex, all of you all know it. So all this is kept outside. Now this is regulative freedom. So, you know, I want to jump from the 25th floor. What will happen? I will die, or I will be crippled for life, right? It's foolish. So no freedom, all so-called freedom ends, right? So when you jump, you will be crippled for life. So that is ending. So the 4 regulation helps you to follow the purity of action, which leads to purity of mind and peace of mind. Eventually happiness comes. So out of the sight, out of mind is a beautiful story which all girls and boys should know. So this is a story of a boy who actually was having a lot of problem with the girl, right, in college. The girl was literally harassing, and they made, actually it's a true story. He told the boys to take a break for a while, and after a while, you know, she also moved on with life. So that is what happens, right? So if you keep things away, over time, gradually it comes down. What you think is what you become. Though technically in Kali Yuga, what you think doesn't matter. What you speak matters. Whereas in Satya Yuga, if you think bad, also you're risky. In Kali Yuga, if you think good, you get good credits. But if you think bad, you don't get bad credits, luckily. But in Satya Yuga, if you think bad itself, you get bad points. Thousands of thoughts come every moment. If you don't thought your thoughts, what happens is they become words. That becomes action. Action becomes habit. And habit will become character. That will become your destination. Benjamin Franklin said, the greatest discovery of our generation is that by changing our thought, we can alter our habit. Do not chase illusionary pleasure. Material pleasure is not new, not in sense object, not existing anywhere except in the mind. Right? It's all in the mind, because it makes us chase the one which does not exist. So what is time? It's temporary, it's illusion, it's miserable and enjoyable. Okay, bound or free is your choice, right? We saw this. Either you be a slave of bad habit, servant of good habit, or a slave of bad habit. Yeah, correct. So this one, we saw this, right? So that's exactly what we're talking. So if you are going to be running in the path of love, which you go into wrath, illusion, you go into sufferings and ignorance. But if you can do it in Krishna consciousness, which is what you all are doing, you move into mode of goodness and love, and finally have eternal. So with this, we can, Prabhu, can you just pause the recording so that I can show them the video of goodness, passion, and ignorance? Hare Krishna.
Sure, Mataji. Hare Krishna.